Good evening, and welcome back to the Shadow Nook. This evening we are travelling to the north of England, to a famous place called York. In York there is a place called the Treasurer's House, and that is where we will be venturing to today. The Treasurer's House is situated directly behind the infamous York Minster, tucked away within the quiet cobbled streets. Known today as a National Trust property, but with over 2,000 years of layered history beneath it. The Treasurer's House was built over the site of a Roman road that was once part of the important Roman fortress of Eboracum. The house, as it stands, is now largely 17th century, although substantial Tudor fragments, medieval foundations and Victorian restorations remain. Famous for being the first house in the National Trust to be fully restored, and most notably by wealthy collector Frank Green, who owned the house from the late 19th to the early 20th century. Frank Green used the home to display his collection of antiques, and had a famously strict rule: everything in its place, and a place for everything. Visitors were warned that objects must not be moved even an inch. So let's look at some history of Treasurer's House. It started with Roman occupation. York itself was founded as Eboracum in AD 71 by the 9th Legion. Treasurer's House sits above the ancient Via de Cumana, a main internal road of the fortress. Archaeological excavations show Roman stonework and drainage systems still intact beneath the cellar. The area was used for soldier barracks, storage buildings and workshop spaces throughout the years. Over centuries, Roman occupation left a deep imprint on the property, important in many later ghost sightings. After the Romans, the site became attached to the Archbishop of York in the medieval and Tudor period. By the 12th century, it served as the residence for the treasurer of York Minster, giving the building its name. Medieval treasurers held enormous power, responsible not only for finances, but also for managing Minster property. The medieval structure fell into disrepair when the treasurer role was abolished in the 1540s during King Henry VIII's reforms. During the 17th to the 18th century, the property was owned by various wealthy families, who rebuilt the structure into the elegant townhouse it is today. Major renovations created the distinctive grand staircase, long gallery and elegant panelled rooms. The house changed hands frequently as fortunes rose and fell. Frank Green purchased the property in 1897. He modernised it and restored historical elements. He turned it into a carefully curated showpiece. Frank Green was known for his eccentric insistence on precision, such as marking furniture legs on the floor to ensure nothing ever shifted from its place. He donated the property to the National Trust in 1930. It is said that Green's energy and obsession with order is often linked to several modern paranormal reports. So let's move on to some of the paranormal stories around the Treasurer's house. There was a witness apprentice plumber, Harry Martindale, in 1953. One of the most widely documented paranormal events in England happened at this time. Harry was working alone in the cellar when he heard an unexpected trumpet call. Moments later, he saw a Roman soldier on horseback emerge from the wall, followed by several marching legionaries. The figures only appeared from the knees up, as though walking on a lower floor. Their uniforms matched historically accurate Roman auxiliaries, not what people typically imagined at the time. They looked solid and not transparent, and their expressions were tired and miserable, not ghostly or dramatic. After the sighting, archaeologists later confirmed a buried Roman road lies exactly at the level where the unseen lower legs would have been, almost as if these soldiers were walking on the road that is still underneath the building. These sightings have led to the building being considered one of the strongest cases of stone tape theory. Now, stone tape theory is repeated residual haunting triggered by deep layers of trauma or routine repetition. Many believed the cellar is the most active paranormal zone in the house. Moving on to a figure that is often seen in the long gallery. Several visitors and staff report seeing a woman in a period dress drifting down the long gallery. She's described as wearing 17th century attire her face pale and expressionless, and silent. She often appears near the windows, as though looking out towards the minster. There is no confirmed identity of this lady, but theories include a member of the early 17th century house-owning families, or perhaps a former servant who spent much of her life working in the house. The entity is considered peaceful, but startling due to her sudden appearances. Some paranormal teams claim that the former owner, Frank Green, still checks on his beloved house. Some reports include footsteps approaching visitors who move objects or simply lean on furniture. Cold gusts when people touch anything marked "Do not move." And staff sometimes hear an authoritative male voice saying "Stop that" or "Put it back." Many believe Frank Green continues enforcing his strict rules long after his death. So, separate from the Roman soldiers, another presence is reported. A tall dark shadow that lingers in hallways or corners of the basement. This shadow moves slowly, unlike the brisk marching of the Roman legionaries. Witnesses describe a heavy, uncomfortable atmosphere, a feeling of being watched intently. Some speculate this could be a remnant of medieval workers, a deceased servant, or perhaps a watcher spirit that has attached itself to the building over centuries. One room upstairs, known as the Green Room, is often identified as one of the guest bedrooms and is associated with sudden temperature drops, a feeling of sadness, and soft footsteps circling the bed. Guests have reported waking up to a figure standing by the fireplace in this room and whispering close to their ear. The most common report is the sensation that someone is sitting on the edge of the bed, even when visibly nobody is there. One a bit more interesting is the phantom cat. Staff tell of a small, quick-moving apparition resembling a grey or tabby cat. The cat is seen darting across hallways or slipping around door frames. It is believed to be the spirit of a household pet from the Victorian period. Harmless and often considered a comforting presence. So, there are some theories behind the paranormal activity at the Treasurer's house. There is, of course, the Roman layer theory. The house sits on centuries of human occupation, making it a perfect candidate for recorded energy. There is the theory of emotional imprinting. Former residents and servants lived through war, plague, and religious upheaval. Emotional residue may remain from this. Then we have architectural changes to the building. Renovations by Frank Green might have disturbed older energies already at play. And then, of course, the building's proximity to York Minster. Being connected to cathedral grounds often correlates with heightened spiritual activity. So the Treasurer's House stands as one of York's most paranormally rich locations. Its combination of Roman foundations, medieval power struggles, and obsessive Victorian restoration creates a unique layering of energies here. Whether it's the famous marching legionaries or the quiet footsteps in the long gallery, this house continues to captivate ghost hunters and historians and visitors alike. Before you go, I'd like to do your oracle card reading. As usual, I will draw one card for you, and you can interpret it however you like. Okay. We have wild and wonderful. Why focus on limitations and realism? Breakthroughs and miracles require no linear explanation or method. Unexplainable and illogical magic happens every day. Let me know down below what this could possibly mean to you. Thank you for joining me again this evening in the Shadow Nook. Don't forget to collect your subscription on your way out. Sleep well.